nakita ko may graded recitation daw. Ano ba yun? Anong subject kasi? IELTS ata. Ano, may sasagot pa kayo doon? Wala akong sasagot doon. Hindi na pumapasok.
Oo. Pero, hindi IELTS yun, pre. ITL lang yun. Alat nang di ko pumapasok eh.
Actually, we're about to do some brainstorming na nga eh.
Yes. Do you wanna join? It's fine lang naman to us.
Mag-review kayo? Huh? No, thanks. Masyado ng ng ating subject. Uy, pare, hanggang ka pala.
Oh, Juliana, pre. Kanina pa kita hinahanap. Nandito ka lang pala. Halika na. Gusto mo, kurang tao sa bilyaran nila aking bebang nang mauna naman tayo dun. Kahit ngayon lang. Oh, Chloe. Diyan ka pala. Ay. Pre, tara na.
Sira ulo. O siya, una na kami ah. Aliana, huwag mo akong susumukay mama mamaya. Ay, libre kita. Siya ka nga pala, Chloe, magawan ka daw niya. Ano, sagot na? Tara, bye-bye. Okay then, bye. So, let's proceed to our brainstorming na.
Let's just review.
Let's divide na lang, then kung sino sa ganito, then explain niya, and listen na lang as.
Okay, so I'll take na lang ang definition so we can start na kasi nagugutom na rin ako. Okay, so first, let me define yung linguistics and anthropology before tayo mag-proceed sa anthropological linguistics. Okay, so first, linguistics. Linguistics is a scientific study of language. It studies the nature of language, structure of language, variation of language, phonetics, phonology, syntax, morphology, and the likes. An example of it would be studying English. So that's linguistics. Now, let's move forward to anthropology. Anthropology, on the other hand, is the scientific study of people's past and present. It focuses on understanding human in both condition, culturally and biologically. So, what do anthropologists do? They examine culture, language, archaeological remains, and physical characteristics of people in various parts of the world. So that is anthropology. Okay, so now, here na tayo sa anthropological linguistics. So anthropological linguistics kasi is a subfield of linguistics. It is concerned with the place of language and its wider social and cultural context. So, anthropological linguistics is a linguist. It is concerned with the place of language in its wider social and cultural context because an anthropological linguist tries to study where the language starts, tries to study what the certain words mean in cultural and social context. So at this point, we can analyze that anthropological linguistics studies the relationship between language and culture. It is an interpretive discipline peeling away at language to find social and cultural meaning. Okay, so if we asked by the guest the idea of anthropological linguistics, I'll give you an example. So for instance, the anthropological linguist heard me saying po whenever I talk to someone older than me. Okay, so the linguist then would try to ask why. Would try to find out what's the cultural or social meaning of po. And why do certain people in a certain country or culture utilizes it? Another example. So what do we actually mean when we say, yeah, right? Well, it could have a genuine or sarcastic meaning, right? Depending on the tone of voice used or the context. Depending also to what person you imagine utilizing this phrase or if you are to use this phrase. So these are the things that we meant when we refer to the cultural and social meaning. With the examples I've mentioned, we can see now the goal of anthropological linguistics. And that is to study language by gathering data directly from the native speakers. The central idea behind this approach is that an anthropological linguist can get a better understanding of language and its relation to overall culture by witnessing language used in natural social context. It is fascinated with the cultural and social meaning of language. That is anthropological linguistics. Now, let's move forward to characteristics of anthropological linguist. What makes an anthropological linguistics? And that is... Nakalimutan ko.
Okay ako na. So, we know that linguists study or research the evolution of languages over time. and across cultures, as well as how languages influence human behavior and social life. So, these are the characteristics or skills that a linguist must have. So, to begin with, linguists should have sharp listening, because the goal of linguists being active listener is to acquire information, listen to understand people and situations before responding to it. And it is the conscious decision to listen carefully and understand what people are trying to convey without being judgmental. And also learn their language easily. So in addition, the speaking skills. Because being a native speaker of the target language or the language into which they will translate will make a good linguist or great linguist that leads to great translations. And along with solid translation skills, it also requires quick thinking and the ability to communicate effectively at every stage of the translation process. Next is the reading comprehension. So good readers connect the meaning of one sentence to the meaning of another. If something is confusing to them, they use their background knowledge to try to clarify the meaning of words and phrases. Also, sometimes they interact with the text by asking themselves questions about its content and reflecting on its ideas. And also, they note the structure or organization of the text and often create a mental overview or outline of the text to help them decide whether it is relevant to their goals. So within the field of linguistics, writing is also useful for a linguist to study of historical linguistics, as evidence of historical forms is usually available only from written sources. Among literate people, much linguistic input is received in written form, making the study of literacy and psycholinguistics of reading become relevant. So next is the complex problem solving. So here, linguists' aim is to cover the most basic types of problem that arise in connection with the phonology, morphology, syntax, and semantics of human languages without introducing heavy theoretical machinery. So, lastly, the social perspectiveness. So this is crucial for a linguist. As I have mentioned earlier, they study how languages influence human behavior and social life. And social perspectiveness refers to a person's ability to tune into the feeling of the people around them. Also, it involves unspoken communication, picking up on body language cues, and discerning the motivation behind particular behaviors. And because a linguist study the languages of a certain place, he or she is not only have the skills to understand the people, but also he feel a connection to them, which often drives him toward services and action. But, wait, what is the difference of anthropological linguistic to other fields kasi?
Oh yeah. You know, Arnel, I think anthropology has a subfield called linguistic anthropology, and its primary focus is on the impact of language and on culture, and it investigates the influence of language on communication. To put it another way, a linguistic anthropology studies language and how it is utilized in order to gain a better understanding of culture, or maybe vice versa. While in the social linguistic, the goal of it is to understand how people communicate and investigate the societal effects of the what is that again? Of the language use. And it also strives to look into everything of the characteristic of the interplay between the language and society. But I guess even it is like that, there is still both subfield of linguistic and also have the same interest in social meanings.
Also, anthropological linguistics also has overlapping interests with pragmatics and semantics, which are associated with the meanings of our utterances or our sentences. So first, how can these two be different from each other? So first, semantics, which is the study of rule systems that determine the literal linguistic meanings of our sentences or our utterances, while pragmatics is concerned with what a speaker implies and what a listener infers based on contributing factors like situational context, the individual's mental and physical states, the preceding dialogue, and other elements. So in pragmatics, the context has an influence on what is said. So for example, example, if you're with your friend who was locked out of his house and the both of you are standing at the back door trying to get inside, he might tell you to crack that window, which literally means to put a crack on the window or break that window. So that is semantics, which deals with the literal meaning of a sentence. And on the other hand, for example, you and your friend are sitting in a room and he tells you that he's feeling a bit warm, so after a while, he told you to crack that window. So in pragmatics, he's implying that he wants you to open the window a crack or just a little. So in pragmatics, the meaning of a sentence changes depending on the situation. If semantics and pragmatics are interested with meaning, anthropological linguistics on the other hand is more focused on the social and cultural meaning of a language. And since it is a subfield of linguistics, it is more focused on the specifics of grammar. So for example, a linguist might ask a question like, what is the social meaning behind using the suffix in instead of using ing? Or why do some groups of people say walkin instead of walking? So anthropological linguistics, it seeks to uncover the meaning behind the use, misuse, non-use of language, its different forms, registers, and styles.
So, that's it, right? I don't think babagsak na tayo.
Oh yes. But first, let us take our recess first because I feel like I'm gonna die if I didn't eat, you know. Come on, get up. Let's go to the canteen.
Laging gutom kasi.
Wait, did you just say something about me, Chloe? You're such mean. I'm just hungry.
Oh, you two, can you just shut up and just get up? Later na lang kayo mag-away. Let's eat muna kasi, oh my gosh, kanina pa ako gutom. Let's go.
Chloe started it first, so it's not my fault.
Cookie, here! Wait, sasabihin ako sa'yo. Guys, sorry, pass muna. Bebe time. Bye!
Okay, bye.